Hello and welcome to Vocabulary Review for the Fall 2020 CIT 225 class. I'm Brother Stevick, and I'm going to go over some slides here. Some have questions on them, some have just kind of concepts and ideas that we're going to cover through the semester. And a couple things about the vocab exam. This is on Canvas, so it is an unforgiving taskmaster. Please make sure you spell correctly, put any necessary punctuation in place. Even though some of my answers I typed in here are in uppercase letters, please make sure to do all of your answers in lowercase letters and spell them correctly. All lowercase and spelled correctly, or they'll be marked wrong. You do have 2 chances to take the vocab quiz. I suggest you take it, mark down, take notes on anything you got wrong, go back and check them again, and then retake the test a little bit later. That'll ensure the best grade that you can possibly get. Okay? So without further ado, let's go through these questions and concepts, and that'll be it. Okay, first of all, what word precedes the word join to produce a Cartesian join? Now, it was in my video and it was in the notes, but this is a cross join. A cross join is a Cartesian join. Which operator lets you find values in an inclusive range among 2 values? So you want to find in a where clause that the answers, and I can't say without saying the answer, it's between. For come between 2 values. An inclusive range is between. In Oracle, what may substitute for a value in an override signature of an insert statement that uses automatic numbering? This is a convoluted question. The question should read, what lets you automatically number your ID column? And that's a sequence. Okay, complicated question, simple answer. It's just a sequence. What lets you put an insert statement uses automatic numbering? Anytime you see automatic numbering in Oracle, it's a sequence. You must use what pseudo column before you can use curval? Okay, so this obviously is a sequence question. You can't use a current value unless a value has been assigned, and you can't assign a value without using next val. For this question, please make sure that you put the little dot there. Dot next val is the answer. What is the maximum number of rows that you can enter with an insert statement in an Oracle database that uses a values clause? If you're using a values clause, the maximum you can do is 1, just 1, that's it. If you're using a select statement, multiple. But if you're doing insert values, there's only 1 row that can be entered. What is the single character wildcard? Meaning, if you're looking for something with a wildcard and you only want to change 1 character, what symbol do you use? That's right, it is the underbar. It is not the dash, it is the underbar. What is the multiple character wildcard? So if I want to do, where name is like S, what wildcard do you use? Make sure it's S and everything that follows. That'd be the % sign. All databases use a 2-tier architecture. What is the tier that runs the database listener service? Okay, so there's 2 tiers. There's the client, and then there's the other one. The client is what runs the application. The other one is what runs the database, and it's where the lister lives, and it's called the server. What subquery is known as an expression and only returns 1 column and 1 row? It is a scalar query. Whenever 1 value or 1 row is returned, it is considered a scalar query. Any question you see that says return a single row, return a single value, it is scalar. Not to be confused with, so what subquery uses an exists operator? That would be correlated. Correlated returns multiple values or multiple rows. Scalar returns 1 value or 1 row. Scalar 1, correlated many. What single word preceding operator would describe the in, any, all, or some operations in multiple row subqueries? So blank operator. And it is kind of an all-encompassing term for in, any, all, or some operations. It was in the reading. I don't think I ever mentioned it. It's called a lookup operator or a lookup clause. Okay, in, any, all, or some tell you where to look things up or how to look things up. What word describes a subquery using an update or delete statement to update or delete multiple rows? Did you say correlated? I bet you did, because it's multiple rows. Whenever you see multiple rows, it's correlated. Which of the following allows you to return more than one row in the subquery? Okay. Which one? Which of these? Scalar, single row, multiple row, correlated, or inline view? Okay, so we said scalar is a single row is a single row, inline view isn't a query, so it's a multiple row view of subquery and a correlated subquery. It's pretty easy, that one. What set operators allow you to join two queries without duplicating the insertion of rows? Okay, so which one of these, there might be more than one, allows you to join two queries without duplicating intersection of rows? It's union. Hang on one second, I gotta check my notes. Sorry, I was gone for a minute there. I just want to make sure this was right. Something was wrong. So set operators union and intersect allow you to join two queries without duplicating rows. Okay, you might have thought union all, but union all will duplicate rows. Union and intersect do not. Okay. What set operators allow you to join two queries and may duplicate the intersection of rows when they're not exclusive query returns? Okay, it's the same row, same number of query, same answers. In this case, it's just union all. Union all returns everything and doesn't care if it's duplicate or not. What set operator allows you to subtract one query from another query? This isn't that tough because it is minus. Minus is the one that lets you subtract. Obviously, minus subtract. All right. What set operators allow you to join two queries and return only the intersection of rows? And that answer is, of course, intersect. What two words describe the result set of a full outer join minus the inner join result sets in set theory parlance? All this is saying is, when you remember we did the Venn diagrams, the full outer join is everything, okay? But you're going to subtract the inner join. You're going to subtract where the two overlap, okay? And that's referred to as a symmetric difference. If you type in difference symmetric, it'll still work, but the answer is symmetric difference. A right join returns the blank relative component. So, meaning relative component is, remember with right joins and left joins, it returns everything on the right side and only things that correlate on the left side. Okay, right join, everything on the right side and only things that match on the left side. And a left join returns the right relative complement. Okay. An ordinary join between two words may be rewritten with the optional keyword. Please type the optional keyword that precedes the join to yield an intersection between two tables in a single query. That is an inner join. An inner join is the intersection of the data. Okay. Remember the Venn diagram. This is where the circles overlap. That's the intersection of the data. That's what this join they're asking for. What optional keyword may precede the word join so that a query returns the intersection between two tables in a single join without providing criteria for a join? It's a tricky one. Tricky, remember? Natural join. A natural join. If you use the word natural, it allows the engine to decide for itself what the good join will be on. What keyword precedes by to organize the return set in ascending or descending order on a non-aggregated query? is order, order by. It organizes the column. It puts it in order. It does this no matter what. Same question. What keyword proceeds by to organize the return set in ascending or descending order on an aggregate query? You might be thinking it's group. It's not. It's order. Order is the only command that puts things in order. That's why it's called order. What keyword proceeds by to organize a return set by a distinct column or set of columns with an aggregated result without organizing the data in ascending or descending order? Remember, we said before, if you have an aggregate query, you have sum, average, anything in there, count in your select query, that becomes aggregate. Everything else has to be in a group by clause, or the engine can't figure out what you want. Okay, so we're going to break out of the questions here and just talk about some various concepts and thoughts and terminology that you need to remember for the test. There are about a dozen questions on this one page alone, okay? SQL is an acronym that stands for Structured Query Language, okay? TCL is an acronym that stands for Transaction Control Language. Transaction Control Language is any query, any commands or clauses that control how the transactions run. Transactions are basically the code that you run. You're going to break them down to a bunch of little transactions, but anytime you start a query, it breaks into a transaction. And there are 3 commands that go with the TCL. Save point. Save point marks a place in the log where things will roll back to if things go wrong. Okay, it'll put a little check mark and say if something goes wrong, or you ask me to roll back to this point, or save that save point. Rollback and commit are used in conjunction with the command begin transaction. If you start your code with begin transaction, everything that you write and execute will get done, but it will not complete until you issue a second command. The command is either rollback or it's commit. If you do begin trans and do rollback, basically what happens is the query will run, it'll make the changes, it'll show you the results, and then it will roll back to the original form it was in. If you use commit, it commits the data. Begin trans rollback runs the query, shows you the results, but it rolls back the data to the original. Begin trans commit runs the query and completes it. DCL stands for Data Control Language. It's what it sounds like. It controls who can access the data and when. There are 2 commands. There's grant and there's revoke. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can grant privileges and you can revoke privileges. DDL is Data Definition Language. The data definition language are the commands that control the schema or the shape of the database. It has nothing to do with the data inside the database and has everything to do with the shape of the schema. Create creates things, alter changes them, drop drops them. Truncate deletes all data in a table at one time. It flushes it. It doesn't look row by row, it's just done, it's gone. It just removes it all. Data manipulation language is the code that we use to modify, show, select the data in the databases. DML is data manipulation language. Select selects the queries, insert inserts the queries, select selects the data, insert inserts data, update changes data, delete removes data, and merge combines data. The difference between delete and truncate, they both essentially do the same thing. They both get rid of the data in the table. However, if you do truncate, it just flushes it and doesn't care what's in what row. If you do delete, And you say, let's say you say delete from customers. It deletes the whole table, but it goes row by row, and it acknowledges each row as it's deleted. Truncate just throws it all out the window and doesn't pay attention. Okay, that covers all those. Two more things, and I think this is it. Oops. Update inserts run with no where clauses affect all rows. If you say update customers, set name to Billy, it will change everyone's name to Billy, unless you put a where clause in there. If you say delete from customers, it'll delete everything in customers because there's no where clause. It just assumes it needs to be that. It's just gonna take everything else out. And the last two things on this, I believe, yep, last two things. These are just antiquated answers to antiquated questions. You just need to know them. ANSI 89 is the where clause, and ANSI 92 is the from clause. ANSI is an old way of, is an old way to do programming language. Just know the two of them. ANSI 89 is where, ANSI 89 is from, and 92 is from. Okay, that completes the review of the vocabulary. Again, remember, make sure you're spelling correctly, make sure that everything is in lowercase, and make sure when you answer next vowel, you put the dot in front of it, okay? Like I said, take the quiz, review what you did, figure out what you need to fix, and then go back and retake it. That's the way to keep your sanity and do a great job on the test. You all have done a great job this semester. I'm very proud of all of you. Good luck. I'll talk to you soon.